When we talk about the beauty of a garden, we often imagine bright colors, a variety of plant shapes and textures. But there's one dimension that many forget about. This is aroma. Yes, exactly that. The invisible, yet incredibly powerful component that can completely change your impression of a garden. Imagine. You step outside, close your eyes, and inhale such a fragrance that it seems. Next to you, an entire bottle of elite perfume has spilled. And this is not magic. It's just the right choice of flowers. In fact, nature has created an entire world of plants that can compete with famous perfume houses. And today we're going to talk about 4 of the most aromatic representatives of the flowers that will give your garden or balcony exactly the perfume scent you're looking for. If you dream of a garden that smells like a luxury boutique, if you want to cut flowers at home and create your own aromatic bouquet, or if you're simply tired of boring gardens without fragrance, this video is for you. Here you will learn which flowers to choose, how to grow them, how to care for them so they reveal their full aromatic potential, and how to turn your space into an aromatic paradise. Let's go. Rose, the queen of perfume. Let's start with what many people immediately think of, the rose, and this is absolutely justified. A rose is not just a flower, it's a perfumery legend. If you've ever held a bottle of expensive perfume in your hands, there's a good chance there was a rose in it. But here's the catch. Not all roses smell equally strong. When you go to a store to buy roses, you often see those varietals bred specifically for beauty. They're huge, bright, perfectly shaped, but they often smell very faintly or not at all. This is because breeders worked primarily on appearance rather than fragrance. But in the world, there are Old English roses and garden varieties that have a stunning, saturated perfumed scent. We need to talk about those. True aromatic roses smell like a complex bouquet. It's not just sweetness, it can be fruity notes, spicy, honey, even slightly powdery depending on the variety. The most famous aromatic roses are varieties like Constance, Fragrant Cloud, Madame Isaac Perrier, and David Austin's English roses. When you smell such a rose, you understand why perfumers fell in love with this flower centuries ago. Now about how to grow such a beauty. Roses love sunlight, a minimum of 6 hours of direct sunlight per day. This is not a recommendation, it's a requirement if you want a powerful fragrance. The more sun, the more intense the scent. It's important to choose a place with good air circulation. This helps prevent disease and also promotes better scent release. Soil for roses should be fertile and well-draining. Roses don't like wet feet. Before planting, prepare a hole, add compost, aged manure. If your soil is heavy and clayey, add sand or perlite. Roses need regular watering, especially during growth and flowering periods, but water should be absorbed, not pooled on the surface. Fertilization is a separate topic. For intense fragrance, roses need nutrients. During the growing season, apply balanced fertilizer, and when flowering begins, switch to fertilizers with higher phosphorus and potassium content. This helps flowers reveal their full aromatic potential. Pruning also plays a role. In spring, when the rose begins to bloom, formative pruning is needed. In summer, remove wilted flowers. This stimulates the appearance of new buds and, correspondingly, new waves of fragrance. Try to prune at a 45-degree angle just above a living leaf. This is needed for the bush to be healthy and beautiful. Pests and diseases. That's what can prevent your rose from blooming beautifully. Powdery mildew, black spot, spider mites. All of this weakens the plant and reduces the amount and quality of flowering. Prevention is more important than treatment here. Apply preventive treatments to roses. Try to water at the root. Avoid leaf wetness. Roses are frost-hardy, but in harsh climates it's better to cover them for winter. If you live in a region with cold winters, use a layer of mulch, mound soil around bushes before frost. In spring, as soon as green shoots appear, gradually uncover the roses so they can adapt to the sun. Want maximum fragrance? Cut roses early in the morning when the essential oil content is highest. Put in a vase with clean water. Add a nutrient solution for cut flowers. A cut aromatic rose will bloom for several days, filling your entire home with its perfumed scent. Hyacinth. Concentrated sweetness. If the rose is a classic perfume, then the hyacinth is its concentrated version. This is a flower that has an almost physically tangible aroma. People often say that the scent of hyacinth is so intense that you feel it not only with your nose but almost with all your senses. And this is truly the case. One blooming hyacinth bush can fill an entire garden with fragrance. The hyacinth is a spring flower that grows from bulbs. The hyacinth's perfumed scent is sweet, honey-like, spicy, with fruity notes. Different varieties have slight variations in scent, but they're all fragrant and intense. A white hyacinth, for example, may have a fresher, cleaner scent, while a dark purple one, a deeper and more spicy one. Growing hyacinths starts in autumn. It's a cold, hardy flower that needs winter dormancy, a period of rest at low temperatures. Bulbs should be planted in September-October in well-draining soil. If you have heavy soil, be sure to add sand, perlite, compost. The bulb is planted to a depth of approximately 3 times its height. The distance between bulbs is approximately 15 centimeters. The planting location should be sunny or semi-shaded. Hyacinths are hardy, but they bloom best in well-lit areas. Watering is done immediately after planting to settle the soil and establish the bulb. After that, water moderately. In winter, the bulbs are dormant. They need cold temperatures, usually requiring approximately 12 to 16 weeks at temperatures around 5 to 9 degrees Celsius. In most temperate climates, this occurs naturally. If you live in a warm climate, bulbs need to be artificially chilled, otherwise they won't bloom. In spring, when the first green shoots appear, you can apply a little fertilizer. If the soil isn't very fertile, hyacinths bloom in April-May, depending on the variety and climate. Flowering lasts several weeks. Cut hyacinths are a separate pleasure. Cut them in the early morning when the lower flowers in the inflorescence are already open, but the upper ones are still closed. Place in a vase, preferably narrow and tight so the stem stays vertical. Water should be clean. You can add nutrient solution. A hyacinth in a vase can last 2 to 3 weeks, and throughout this time it will give you intense, stunning fragrance. After flowering, don't rush to discard the bulb. Cut off the flower stem, but leave the leaves. Continue watering the plant while the leaves are green. This is needed for the bulb to accumulate energy for next year. You can apply potassium-rich fertilizer, which helps strengthen the bulb. When the leaves begin to yellow and die, gradually reduce watering. The bulb is preparing for its dormant period. Dig up the bulb, dry it in the shade in a well-ventilated place for several weeks. Then store in a cool, dry place until next autumn. Many hyacinths can be grown for several years in a row, although flowering may be less intense after the first year. If you want to grow hyacinths at home in pots, that's also possible. The process is similar to planting in the ground, but instead of soil you can use a special substrate for bulbs. Plant several bulbs in one pot for greater effect. After cooling, place the pot in a warm place with light. A home hyacinth will bloom approximately 2 to 3 weeks later. Iris, refined elegance. Irises are flowers that are often underestimated in terms of fragrance. People see their graceful, elegant petals, admire their shape and color, but not everyone knows that some iris varieties have a divine, delicate, exquisite scent. The scent of iris in perfumery is called a violet note, and this is no accident. Iris rhizome extract is used in perfumes to give depth and softness. Aromatic irises have a scent that is difficult to describe in words. It's not a bright, loud scent like hyacinth. It's rather a delicate, refined aroma with violet, slightly powdery notes. For people who prefer subtle, refined perfumes rather than heavy, loud ones, irises are an ideal choice. The most aromatic irises are mainly bearded irises. They have a characteristic hairy growth inside the flower. Varieties such as Immortality, Perfume Counter, and Sapphire Hills are known for their perfumed aroma. Irises grow from rhizomes. A rhizome is a thickened stem that grows horizontally underground. Planting an iris differs from planting other plants precisely because of this feature. The rhizome should not be completely buried in the soil. The top part of the rhizome should be at ground level or slightly above. This is needed for ventilation and to prevent rot. Soil for irises should be well-draining. If you have clay soil, be sure to add sand, perlite, compost. Irises don't like stagnant moisture. The location should be sunny, at least 6 to 8 hours of direct sun per day. In the sun, irises bloom better and more fragrant. Planting is best done in summer or early autumn. Divide the rhizomes so that each part has at least one green shoot. When planting, spread out the roots. If they're excessively long, you can trim them slightly. Gently compact the soil around the rhizome so it becomes established. Watering. In the first time after planting, water moderately. An established plant needs watering mainly during growth and flowering periods. After flowering, watering can be reduced. Fertilizer needs to be applied in early spring when the first shoots appear. Use a balanced fertilizer or, better yet, a fertilizer with higher phosphorus and potassium content. This promotes more fragrant blooming. Irises bloom in May-June, depending on the variety. Flowering lasts several days for each bud, but the plant has many buds, so flowering lasts several weeks. After flowering, remove faded flowers, but leave the stems until they yellow naturally. The leaves continue to feed the rhizome. When the leaves are completely dead and dry, they can be cut. Dividing iris clumps is best done every 3 to 4 years. Old rhizomes lose their ability to bloom. Divide carefully, trying not to damage the roots. Young, newly grown parts of the rhizomes will bloom more actively. Cut irises are an exquisite home decoration. Cut when the lower flowers are already open, but the upper ones are still in buds. Place in cool water. Irises in a bouquet last about a week, and during this time the delicate, refined aroma will delight you every day. Gardenia, perfume of the highest class. If you're looking for a flower with the most luxurious, most perfumed aroma, if you dream of a garden that smells like a billionaire's office where a candle burns with the scent of a natural flower, then gardenia is what you need. Gardenia has the reputation of a flower with one of the most beautiful and expensive fragrances in the world. The scent of gardenia is sweetness, but not cloying. It's some incredible, delicate, floral aroma with fruity and milky notes. When gardenia blooms, it fills all the air around it with its scent. And if you cut one gardenia and place it in a room, the scent will be felt everywhere. Gardenia is a shrub with dark green, glossy leaves. The flowers are white, delicate, double in most ornamental varieties. This plant comes from tropical regions, so it's more heat-loving than roses or irises. Growing gardenias requires a more careful approach. This plant is demanding of conditions, but the result is worth the effort. Light. Gardenia needs bright light, but preferably soft, filtered. Direct, hot midday sun can burn the leaves. Ideally, an east or west-facing window where the sun is not so intense. If you grow gardenia outdoors in a hot climate, provide it with light shade during the hottest hours of the day. Temperature. Gardenia loves warmth, but needs a temperature difference between day and night. The optimal daytime temperature is around 24 degrees. Nighttime, 4 to 5 degrees lower. This promotes the formation of more buds. Gardenia is sensitive to cold. Don't expose it to temperatures below 15 degrees. Humidity. This is perhaps the most critical parameter. Gardenia requires high air humidity. If you grow it at home or in a greenhouse, spray the leaves regularly. Place the pot on a tray with wet pebbles. Use a humidifier. Low humidity leads to bud drop. Soil. Gardenia prefers slightly acidic, well-aerated soil. Use a mixture of peat moss, perlite, compost. The soil should be loose, not clay. Watering. The soil should be constantly moist, but not wet. Use soft water. Gardenia is sensitive to chlorine and lime. If you have hard tap water, use settled or filtered water. Even a slight drying out of the soil can lead to bud drop. Fertilization. Gardenia needs regular feeding. Use specialized gardenia fertilizers or universal fertilizers for flowering plants, but at half strength to avoid root burn. Fertilize every 2 weeks during active growth and flowering. Make sure the fertilizer contains microelements, especially iron, as gardenia in alkaline soil can suffer from chlorosis. Pruning. Gardenia blooms on last year's shoots. Pruning is best done immediately after flowering. Remove dead, damaged shoots, slightly shape the bush. Don't do drastic pruning, as this can lead to lack of flowering in the next season. Propagation. Gardenia is propagated by cuttings. Cut young, semi-woody shoots approximately 7 to 10 centimeters long. Remove the lower leaves, treat the cut with root formation stimulator and plant in a mixture of peat and perlite. Cover with polyethylene to create a greenhouse effect. Rooting occurs within 3 to 4 weeks. Pests and diseases. Gardenia can be affected by spider mites, mealybugs, scale insects. Regularly inspect the plant. If you notice pests, use insecticidal products. Prevention is important. Leaf cleanliness, good ventilation, avoiding plant stress. Gardenia is a slow-growing plant, and that's normal. Don't expect it to immediately produce many flowers. Over the years, the bush will grow and bloom increasingly abundantly. It should be noted that gardenia, especially in closed conditions, can be capricious. But if you provide it with all necessary conditions, you will be rewarded with stunning fragrance and beautiful flowers. So we took a real perfume journey through the world of aromatic flowers. We started with the classic rose, which for centuries has inspired perfumers. Then we immersed ourselves in the intense, almost physically tangible aroma of hyacinth. Then we discovered the delicate, refined elegance of iris. And we finished our excursion with the luxurious gardenia with its incredible, expensive scent. Each of these flowers is unique. Each has its own character, its own story, its own scent, and each of them is capable of transforming your garden or your home. The choice depends only on your preferences. Perhaps you love classics and will choose a rose. Perhaps you like bright emotions and prefer hyacinth. Perhaps you're a romantic and iris is your choice. Or you're a dreamer, and gardenia will be your selection. Remember that growing aromatic flowers is not just gardening. It's creating a mood, creating an atmosphere. It's an investment in your emotions and in the quality of your life. Because when you enter a room saturated with the aroma of a beautiful flower, when you breathe in this scent deeply within yourself, something changes in your mood, in your well-being, in your soul. Don't put it off. If you've long dreamed of growing aromatic flowers, start right now. Choose 1 or 2 varieties, prepare a space, create the necessary conditions. And very soon you will be enjoying a fragrance that will remind you of good moments in life, of the beauty of nature, of the fact that there is room in the world for true magic.